Greetings and happy virtual INSERA 217 annual meeting. I'm Laura Christianson, representing the University of Illinois to give the Illinois State update this year. Much of our drainage research in Illinois continues to focus on water quality improvement practices. One of our major projects over the past few years, with a big push in this final year of the project, is around the practice of saturated buffers. Saturated buffers were not originally included as a recommended practice in the Illinois nutrient loss reduction strategy, but our work is now showing removals at the edge of the field, nitrogen removals of about 40 to about 90%. Toward the end of this year, we're looking forward to moving that information into policy through our nutrient loss reduction strategy update and revision process, which is a part of our biennial reporting process. We anticipate saturated buffers to be the first practice addition to our strategy, to our list of recommended practices in our strategy. It's likely that the value that we'll recommend will be around 50% in loss reduction for saturated buffers at the edge of the field, but of course we're still analyzing the data here. Another related idea that we've been working on is to create an interactive saturated buffer model, much like our bioreactor model that I'm showing here. We've worked with AgriDrain to develop preliminary plans and hope to have this saturated buffer model later in 2020. We hope to see you around at some of our extension events in the future where you can hopefully plant into our saturated buffer model. In addition to saturated buffers, you know that we are turning up the heat on bioreactors in Illinois. And I mean that literally. We have solar-powered heating pads deployed in one of our small bioreactors near campus, and we just got all the electrical online within the past few months. We are so excited to start seeing temperature and nitrate removal data start to roll in before it gets too warm this summer. We're also pretty curious about the wood chips that we use in our bioreactors. In one study, we found that although oak wood chips do leach a lot of tannic acid and color, like you see in the picture here, they also have the potential to remove more nitrogen than other kinds of wood chips. This was confirmed with denitrifying enzyme assays, which evaluate the potential for denitrification to take place. In this graph, the oak had the higher potential than the other two types of wood chips tested. This is important to investigate because oak wood chips are excluded in the national level Natural Resources Conservation Service Conservation Practice Standard for denitrifying bioreactors. We're also curious about the use of emerald ash borer killed or emerald ash borer infected ash trees as a potential source of wood chips for bioreactors. So far, we haven't found anything in the wood itself that would preclude its use in a bioreactor, as long as you're not moving the wood across an emerald ash borer quarantine boundary. On the physical properties side, we're slowly but surely working toward our vision of an app or an online tool to estimate critical properties like particle size, porosity, and hydraulic conductivity based on image analysis of wood chip photos. And even if you don't like wood chips, you've got to think that a wood chip app is a pretty cool idea. Over the past year, it's been a real pleasure to collaborate to explore what might cause bioreactors to reach the end of their initial life. Not surprisingly, the wood chips break down and there's less carbon than there was initially in the wood chips, and the carbon quality has changed. But what is surprising to me is that it may not be those two things directly that mean a bioreactor needs to be recharged with new wood chips. Actually, the need for replacement might end up being a little more of a function of development of preferential flow paths over time. But obviously, all of these things are related. You might be wondering, what do wood chips look like after 9 years in a bioreactor? Well, they look like wood chips, mixed with a little bit of dirt, but thanks to Dr. Chris Hay for this picture of our 9-year-old wood chips. In Illinois, we have a lot of great in-field drainage research also continuing. I mentioned many of these studies last year in my annual report, and of course they're ongoing. We have nitrogen management work, like at our Dudley Smith farm shown here, where we're also happen to be layering in some cover crop work. You see the little baby cereal rye coming up nicely there last fall. Dr. Rabin Badarai and Dr. Richard Cook have at least 2 field sites where they continue to investigate the impact of tile spacing, tile depth, and tile diameter on nutrient loss. And their groups are also leading some of the modeling efforts for drainage and nutrient loss reduction in our state. And lastly, this picture isn't one of our controlled drainage sites, but it makes me laugh every time, which sometimes we need. I think if I had to add a caption, the caption is "The struggle is real." But joking aside, we couldn't do any of this work, without our great students and without our great staff. On the drainage monitoring front in Illinois, one of our exciting new areas is the use of real-time ultraviolet optical nitrate sensors. We're in the beta testing phase for this work, but our ultimate vision is to put these sensors at the inlet and outlet of practices like bioreactors. The configuration we're currently using allows a measurement range between 0.25 and 30 milligrams nitrogen per liter with a measurement accuracy of plus minus 5%. If we can measure nitrate load reduction at a bioreactor in real time, I think you can see we might be one step closer to providing the certainty required for robust water quality trading programs. And to me, that's particularly exciting because water quality trading is a good market-driven solution for improving water quality. I'd also like to mention that within the past year, at the suggestion of Dr. Richard Cook, we worked as a team to calibrate AgriDrain's new stainless steel fronted V-notch stop log weirs. These act as a more sharp crusted weirs compared to the old V-notch stop logs, which some of you may be familiar with. That calibration equation is now publicly available. To end, during these times where we're using words like unprecedented and challenging and unusual, and still getting used to phrases like social distancing or flattening the curve, we hope you are all well, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we hope that you are finding time to do things that you enjoy. From our research group to yours, and from our family to yours, please stay safe, and we will see you in person next year.